How do you approach this Georgetown game, given what happened last time
Sure.
and how one-sided it was?
Well, we want to stay the course in terms of continuing to focus on getting better each practice and each game. As we get deeper in the season, the significance of games multiplies because there's more at stake. But our preparation in terms of the week of a practice and our game film and our scouting, day of game routine stays the same because players and coaches, teams by nature are creatures of habit, and you don't want to mess with that aspect to try and get us into that zone where we perform at our best.
Any changes in strategy or?
Tons of things, yeah, but obviously I'm not going to share that with you.
Yeah.
Steve, take us back to the
Not
game.
tons is embellishing. The reality is there's not going to be dramatic departure or change from the last, what is this now, 10 or 11 games. We'll be employing things. In other words, we don't dramatically change our style or system of play for one game. We'll make slight adjustments from game to game, or halftime to halftime, from the first half to second half, or even timeout to timeout. But there's still adjustments that are within our system and style of play that we've practiced and our players are familiar with. I'm not big on doing things in a game that we haven't practiced, and so there won't be a great departure, or I shouldn't say a dramatic departure from what we've done to this point that's allowed us to be successful. And yet we always make adjustments as we see fit to put our team in the best possible position to be competitive and win games.
Steve, take us back to the Verizon Center game. When you go into that locker room at halftime,
Sure.
and the team's been dominated, and you look at your team, can you
Yeah.
describe what you saw?
I'm not sure. To me, it was, we didn't play well in any aspect, and was just, we were at a low point in terms of the season. And, from that point forward, we've begun to climb the mountain.
Were people angry or just quiet
Nothing. It was just, I just, said my piece, and then we moved forward. And from that halftime forward, even though we lost a couple other games, we've been competing our fannies off since. The second half of that game, we competed our fannies off. There's been stretches like every team we don't play well, but we've been competing at a very high level from the halftime of that Georgetown game forward. Even in those heartbreaking losses, our kids gave it everything they had. There are times we didn't execute, we didn't make a free throw, we missed a layup, you have a breakdown on defense, but we have competed our fannies off since that halftime of the Georgetown game. And as a result, they're getting rewarded for their efforts.
When you say you said your piece and moved on,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell us at all about what your piece contained, or what your temperament was when you delivered it?
No, it was a very lively, message that had, the appropriate. We were addressing the situation appropriately, and other times, over the course of the season where you need to do that. And they've, one thing about this group, they have always responded. If I go back to there really hasn't been, Wisconsin, we've talked about it before, Wisconsin, Penn State, Georgia Tech. This team just has an unusual fight back or resiliency, toughness about them. And so when it's not there, it's on the coach to remind them of the appropriate responses and how to counterpunch and how to bring forth their best to get closer to the full expression of our potential as a team. And for the most part, this has been a really special group to work with, and no one's perfect, and there are times, like a parent or a teacher or a coach, you're disappointed with your team's performance. But from that point forward, I thought the first half the other night, we were disappointed against Seton Hall with our execution, with our effort, and that was unacceptable. But they came back, worked hard today, and now we're getting ready for Georgetown.
Steve, Rashid's been a big part of the resurgence.
Sure.
Mark indicated that you're not planning to make him available
Yeah.
to us the rest of the season. Just for the fans who are wondering why they're not hearing from him, can you confirm
Yeah,
and explain?
he just, throughout my career, you try and make choices as a coach that you think are in the best interest of both individual players and your team as a whole. And at this point, we just, I want Rashid's 100% focus to be on his studies and on improving as a basketball player. And everything after that is secondary. And so anything I can do to encourage, create an atmosphere that enhances the chances of Rashid being able to focus on solely his academics and his development as a basketball player will go a long way to helping our cause.
Have you done that with any player at UCLA, or is it a unique case?
Rashid is I have to go back and think about what we did. We've had different things. I forget what we do with Poli. Right through.
I think he was available.
It was available.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah. So like every team is unique, every player is unique. So I'm not sure what I've done in the past with freshmen, but as a coach, and I didn't even know how good of a decision that was until we moved down the line a couple of months, and so it's definitely been a good thing for our team. Just anything that can limit the distractions for a young person's growth and development, both as a student and as an athlete. And I'm very pleased with the results of Rashid being able to kind of turn 100% focus on those two aspects, and naturally his family as well, and the health challenges they've had.
Steve, when you go back to that Georgetown game,
Yeah.
what point were you trying to make with the starting lineup? And do you think that backfired in a sense in terms of the lack of emotional response in the first?
No, I mean, who knows? I'm not good at the crystal ball game, or even,
But what was your point of the starting?
No, just that, throughout my entire coaching career, I just try and make choices that you think are going to help your team for the long haul. Whether it's an individual or it's a group. And sometimes the decisions are tough, like D'Angelo Harrison, that you make a judgment choice on suspending a really good basketball player because I thought it was in the best interest of both D'Angelo and our basketball program, and I've had to do that throughout my career at UCLA and here at St. John's. And I just, the idea is to continue, we're in a better place because of Georgetown. That was just like Ford in my first year. There's a low point in the season, or there's a week or 2 weeks. My first year here, we were blasted by everyone those first 2 months. But the low point was clearly the Fordham and the St. Bonaventure game. And from that, kind of out of the ashes, that team grew. And for this team, it's been Georgetown was the low point. There were a couple other tough losses in there, but Georgetown was definitely the low point of the season, down 33, I think, in the first half. So we've learned from that, and both in terms of what it takes on a daily basis in our approach to practice, and the level of execution and effort that it takes to be successful at this level, or at this, in the Big East. So. Yeah, but none of it's not really fresh or original material. It's not unique. I mean, to every team I've coached, I think every basketball coach, every parent, every teacher has the same challenges, which is how do you bring forth the best in your team? And sometimes those methods work, sometimes they don't. That's the mystery of human nature and the world we live in.
Did you see something in that, maybe in that second half, or?
Yes, they fought. Just fought. We fought so hard. Our team fought very hard that second half. because that's a game that could easily have gone to 60, 50, like the Villanova Creighton game, every coach has had them, if you coach long enough, Creighton had Villanova down 40, it's a terrible feeling, and you feel like it might go to 80, I'm sure Jay felt it was going to go to 70, at that point, the rate they were at, you're thinking this thing might go to 60 or 70. But I thought, our kids fought their fannies off in that second half, and then since then, we've been rewarded with the wins we've had.
Obviously, D'Angelo has struggled against Georgetown.
Sure.
What do you see as the reason? What do they do that other people don't do
Sure.
that gives them trouble?
Yeah, well, one is they've had some good teams. They won the Big East last year. They were shocked in the first round of the tournament. I think we were all shocked by that Florida. We played Florida Gulf, right?
Yeah, in the second half.
Yeah, but, aside from that, I thought they had the best year in the Big East of anybody. Louisville ended up winning it, right? Is that right? Did Louisville end up winning it? Yeah, so Louisville ended up winning the Big East Conference tournament, right? But Georgetown got the regular season, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Three-way tie.
Was it three-way?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think, they have really good program, great team, good schemes, and I'd say that's, first and foremost.
So it's no particular matchup? or-
Yeah, no, I think I think they've really played good basketball, and they lock up a lot of people, a combination of, the physicality, the ball control offense, limiting possessions. They're playing a little better, a little faster in these recent weeks. They're pushing the ball a little more than they have in years past, but at the end of it, they're still a very methodical, deliberate, physical style of, they play a style of basketball that's physical, deliberate, methodical, and they have really good athletes. They got great speed, they got great strength, they got great length. They're a really good program, and we saw that against Michigan State. They pounded Michigan State. Not necessarily the score, but the physicality of it. They pound. I hadn't seen a team pound Michigan State like that in terms of the physical nature of the pounding that they put on Michigan State.
Steve, how different are they to prepare for and to play without Josh Smith?
We have enough game film since, so we've seen them, and they're playing really well right now. Their guards are probably the best in the conference in terms of a tandem, and they have so much experience. NCAA tournament teams. So even without Smith, in some ways they're tougher to match up with because they're faster. And, they're playing at a quicker tempo. They're given more freedom to Starks and Rivera to create. There's been, they still run some of the Princeton, but there's been a little bit of a departure from that. They've adjusted, adapted with this current group of players very nicely. And as a result, they're one of the hottest teams in the league, or right up there with one of the hottest teams in the league. I think the Michigan State game kind of puts them over the top on the hottest.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.